water down there, which is the same mechanism that the Israeli military uses on fishermen in Gaza. They use water hoses on the fishermen, blowing some of the fishermen off the boats. The other part, as the helicopters started coming across the top of the ship, you all have seen the Israeli military video that was taken from another helicopter that was standing off the Marmara, that showed as the were coming down that they were being met with force by the passengers that were on board. That some of them had sticks, some of them had broken off railings, they were chairs. But one of the things to wonder about, what precipitated that? Was that something that they had planned? The Al Jazeera reporter that was up on top of the boat said that as he was standing there, the passenger that was standing next to him, as the helicopters were coming over, crumbled into a pool of blood. Now, if that's true, does that mean that there was actually shooting that was coming from the helicopter? We now know that from the Israeli colonel that testified earlier this week in the civilian investigation, that they now say that yes, they were shooting tasers from the helicopter. But I don't know whether it's true that actually there was gunfire. That's why there really needs to be an independent investigation, because there are all sorts of allegations here, and it needs to be adequately investigated. The video, well, during the course of the commandos coming down, we saw the passengers hitting some of the commandos. There were at least 3 of them that were badly injured. We don't see the end of that scene, though. The video stops before it shows the captain of the ship and the director of the IHH coming out of the wheelhouse with bullhorns, telling the passengers to stop beating up the commandos and to take the commandos, ordering one of the Turkish doctors that happened to be up on the top of the deck to take those commandos down to the tiny first aid station that was on the ship and get the commandos treated and turn them back over to Israeli military control. Because everybody knew that if you had captured and were holding the commandos, that was not going to result in anything good. So that's what happened. They were treated and returned to the military control. That's one part of it. Now, during this period of time, other things were going on in other parts of the ship that we need to have a real timeline on what happened. Because in a period of about 15 minutes, there were 9 people that were killed, 9 people killed with 35 bullets. One of the people, the 19-year-old American citizen, had 5 bullets in his body. 5 of the people were killed with shots to the head. 50 more people were wounded. I talked to some of the women who were in the first aid station, as we all were in the same Israeli prison about 24 hours later, and they were saying that there was so much blood, that they were up to their ankles in blood. The captain of the ship immediately, well, not immediately, but at a certain point in those 15 minutes was on the radio to the Israeli military saying, we have people that have been killed, we have lots of people that have been severely wounded, we have no capability of taking care of these people at all. We need help, we need help. The commandos were in control of that ship within 20 minutes. From their point of view, they say that they had some people that had been tossed over one deck down to another deck. They say that 2 people had been stabbed. They saw, and you all saw too on TV, that there were weapons, that what they showed were knives that were taken from the kitchens on the 6 levels, because they were feeding 600 people on that ship. There were no weapons that were found that were from the passengers. There were allegations that weapons were taken from the commandos and were used on the commandos. There's one reportedly that was shot, I think it was through the knee. But one of the things that I would hope that an investigation would look at is where that person was, who was doing shooting. We know from our own U.S. military operations that friendly fire is very frequent, that your own force